Do you have trouble making and keeping deep friendships as an adult? This is something that I struggle with. Sometimes I run from the nitty-gritty of friendships, and sometimes I just get disillusioned by how difficult it can be to make those close friendships, especially post-college. So let's talk about that today. Hey friends, Tiffany Dawn here, and if you're new to this channel, these videos are all about setting you free from the expectations that you always had of what it means to be a Christian girl. So you can hit that subscribe button to join us every Tuesday for more girl talk. So my expectation of what friendships looked like was that they would just kind of happen almost magically or like by God's design, and they would just be really easy. Like it'd be easy to find the person, it'd be easy to click with them immediately, and there are situations where that does happen, but I found that a lot of the time that's not actually the reality. A lot of times in friendships you have to really work at it, and it takes some time to see if you click. So this is something that I personally still struggle and wrestle with, but let me share 5 tips that I've been learning and maybe they can help you too. Tip number 1 is go meet people. There are so many things in my life that I just kind of wanted to wait for God to like magically show up on my doorstep, like including my future husband. When I was single, I thought he would just kind of show up and I didn't have to do anything or meet anyone. Same thing with friendships. I thought like my new best friend would just kind of appear in my life. And while there are times when that does happen, I found that more often than not, I have to actually put myself in a place where I can meet people. So that could be like Bible studies, young adult groups, frisbee leagues, sports leagues, book studies, whatever it is. Tip number 2 is that you have to get to know them. I always thought that the friendship bond would form overnight, and there have been times when I've clicked with someone really quickly, but most of the time with friendships, it doesn't happen overnight. Most of the time, I don't feel 100% like really comfortable and super connected with that person until a few months have gone by of spending time with them anyway and getting to know them. I'll be like, this person has potential. Like, I think we could really click. And it's not like I'm trying to force something that's just not working. That hasn't been any good either in my life. But it's like someone I kind of click with, but it's not 100%. And I have to kind of push past that initial resistance phase I have and just keep getting to know them anyway. Because there's this initial phase that I'm like, this is scary, this is vulnerable. Like, I don't like taking this time, especially as an introvert, to get to know a new person because it just like is uncomfortable for me. So I have to push past that and really get to know that person. Tip number 3 is you have to get messy. This is the hardest part for me. When you're a friend with somebody, you're a friend with that person in all their brokenness as well as in the areas that God has already redeemed. I am a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist about myself, and I can be that way too about other people, and just expecting people to be more perfect than they are. And that's something I've had to really work on and recognize in myself. Like, okay, this part of this friendship right now is messy. Now, I'm not talking about an unhealthy, drama-filled friendship that's just pulling and dragging you down into the dumps. That is not what I'm talking about here. That's just not healthy. What I'm talking about is like, I'm walking with this person through something they're wrestling with that's uncomfortable because it's a lot of pain they're going through, or it's just you see things in their character that just are not formed yet, and maybe that annoys you or whatever it is. And being able to walk with them through that and be an encouragement and a friend to them anyway, not trying to fix them, but just trying to be with them in that. And that goes both ways, allowing them to also be with you in the places where you're vulnerable. That's also hard for me. I want to be the person helping, not the person being helped. And that's a pride issue in my heart. Number 4 is you have to give it time. So this goes for even meeting someone who could be a good friend, because that can take a while and can be frustrating. When I move to a new place, it can take me a whole year to feel like I really have a community of good friends. It just takes me time for my personality. But also just, there's different kinds of friendships, and you don't always know what kind of friend that person will be when you first start getting to know them. It could be that they're a good friend. It could be that they become more of an acquaintance friend. It could be that they're like a seasonal friend, like you guys are in each other's lives for a season and then you kind of drift apart. Or it could be that they're going to be one of the closest friends you've had in your life. You just don't know that when you start getting to know them. So you have to give it time to see how that friendship develops, how it grows and builds. And lastly, be there for them. And this sounds so simple, but it's also one of the hardest parts for me, to really put that person as a priority in my life. I tend to prioritize things that I do rather than people that I love. And so for me, this is hard to say, you're gonna be a priority. That doesn't mean that I have to see you every day or even every week, but you're gonna be someone who I'm gonna make time for in my life, and I'm gonna be there for you. And so if you're really struggling and you need someone to bring you a meal, I'm gonna do that. If you're really struggling and you need someone to just sit and talk with you for a while and cry with you or just listen, I'm gonna do that. And just making ways to be there for that person. And if you want 6 tips for how to be a good friend for somebody, check out this video linked right up above. I love you girls. Remember that your God sees you, knows you, and loves you. Bye.